The passing of an act in 1834 known as the Poor Law saw some of the most poverty-stricken people in communities admitted to workhouses as a place of last resort, where they would be put to work in exchange for shelter, clothing and food, the conditions of which were so dire that all but the most desperate abstained. Many of these institutions suffered from severe overcrowding and in turn disease and death, and although initially they were designed to only take in the able-bodied, so-called undeserving poor, by the 1860s there were over 21,000 sick, disabled and elderly inmates rotting away in London workhouses alone. Over time, these institutions have become a symbol of the Victorian ruling class's attitudes towards the poor, a physical representation of poverty, misery and neglect for those most in need. Construction of the Union Workhouse in Llanfyllin, mid-Wales began in 1837 and was completed in 1840 when it began taking in its first inmates from 23 local parishes, which at the time consisted of a population of over 20,000 people. The building itself comprised of 4 two-storey blocks laid out in a cross, each block and courtyard segregating the inmates into men, women, boys and girls.
Life here was hard and very institutionalised, with the Poor Law Commissioners implementing strict rules on discipline, the inmates' daily routines and even their diets, which were designed to be as bland as possible, consisting of porridge, gruel, soup and bread, with meat being available only twice a week, although even this was limited to just once a week by 1843. Whilst living here, the inmates were put to work on daily tasks, such as grinding corn by hand, stone breaking, gardening and generally maintaining the workhouse buildings themselves. Children as young as 12 could also be hired out to work in the local community, young girls often as domestic servants and boys as farm labourers, each dressed in their distinguishable workhouse uniforms, which undoubtedly exposed them to ridicule and further undeserving shame.
Despite the bleak reputation of Victorian workhouses, the one here in Llanfyllin for the most part had better conditions than many others in the country. Certainly, overcrowding here was never really an issue, and despite being built to contain 250 inmates, on average far fewer lived here at any one time, and in 1841 only contained 133 people, just over half of its capacity. The majority of its population consisted of children, either orphans or so-called bastards from unmarried mothers, and was schooled within the institution itself, and following inspections the level of education here was actually found to be much higher than that provided by local free schools, the paupers at the workhouse progressing much further in the subjects taught than children in other local schools.
Despite being one of the better workhouses in the country, and that being a very low bar set, it still wasn't a particularly nice place to have been, and certainly acted as a deterrent, as evidenced by the low number of able-bodied people passing through here. Along with children, there were many unmarried mothers with no means of financial income, as well as those with mental illnesses and disabilities whose families could no longer support them. Although long since demolished, there was also a block here designed specifically for vagrants or tramps, or the homeless as we've referred to them as today, where they were confined to their cells for almost the entirety of the day, put to work breaking stone by hand for use in making of roads and construction.
Following the end of the poor law system in the 1930s, the building continued as a care home for the elderly, many of whom came from the workhouse and were too institutionalised to return to society. After extensive renovation work in the 1960s, the building continued its use as a community care home up until 1982, when sadly due to financial cuts it was forced to close and sat derelict for almost 2 decades. After passing through the hands of numerous property developers, in the process tearing out anything that gave the building character, from fireplaces to staircases, the building was purchased by the Llanfyllin Doyle Building Preservation Trust, who have since then restored much of the complex, opening it up to the public as both a community centre and museum, detailing the important history of its former life as a workhouse. It's since being opened up to the public that strange events have been experienced within the old workhouse, from footsteps being heard in empty rooms, shadows creeping down vacant corridors, and doors seemingly slamming shut by themselves. Tying in with the history of the building itself, the sound of children laughing, singing and crying have all been heard, and on a few occasions people have even heard the sound of classrooms full of children, only to enter the room for it to drop deadly silent.
Behind me was a central hub of the workhouse and the master's living quarters. It was designed with a window in each quadrant, enabling the master to look out over each courtyard, keep an eye on the inmates and ensuring the smooth running of the workhouse. It's this very window that many people today have looked up to see a figure staring back at them, many believing it to be the ghost of a former master, still keeping an eye on the workhouse some 150 years later. Whenever we investigate somewhere, we always try and look for reasons why a place might be haunted. And certainly here, although the conditions weren't as dire as some workhouses, these walls still witnessed a huge amount of misery and despair during its years of operation, and I certainly wonder if maybe these energies and these emotions have in some way been recorded into the fabric of the building itself. On top of this, for many people this was their home, and I certainly think that if the spirit has any choice in where it returns to after death, these familiar rooms and corridors may be where many an unfortunate soul remains. So this first part we're investigating is essentially all of the master's house. So I think, as you said, this is his living room?
Yeah, I think this is his living room.
Upstairs we've kind of got his office area, and then below us is his sort of living room area, dining room area. So yeah, we're in the sort of central hub of the workhouse at the moment. So there wouldn't have really been anyone other than sort of people working here that were in this area. Is there anybody here with us? Is there a master of the workhouse? We're just in your living room at the moment, just looking to see if there's anybody here that could come and speak to us. I know you get lots of visitors here today, coming and looking around the buildings. So if you do get fed up with that and you don't want us here, then obviously let us know. We can leave you in peace. But if you would like to come and speak to us, then please do.
Are you feeling anything particular in this room at all?
Nothing.
No. That door, Mary, we couldn't shut it. Yeah, can I shut it from the inside? No. We'll have to go back that way. Yeah, I'm going to
Well, that's going down in Shadow Paranormal history as the loudest floor ever.
How long ago was it they said they were just replaced all the floors? 3 months, wasn't it?
We continued to explore various areas of the workhouse, but soon found it rather difficult to investigate in such a large group due to the sounds of creaky floorboards and many of the rooms echoing the smallest of sounds created by each other, and as such we split into 2 separate groups consisting of James, Hayden and myself, and the other of Sophie, Lauren and Vicky. It was during this period that the locked off camera we'd placed in the former women's dormitory captured this strange light anomaly. We were able to match up where each of us were when the light appeared, and can see that the girls were not only upstairs but also in an entirely different area of the building, ruling them out completely. James, Hayden and myself were just entering a doorway downstairs, not far from where the light appeared, and we were indeed carrying a torch at the time to light the way. Could the light from this torch be responsible for creating this unusual anomaly? We'll let you decide. With nothing of note occurring for the next hour in our groups, we decided to break down even further into pairs to see if this would garner any results.
Is there anybody in this room with us? Probably seen us walking around here for a little while now. Just interested about the building here and people that have lived here over the years. Maybe people who still are living here and we'd like to talk to you if at all possible. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe tell us who you are and why you're here. And there's no shame in being here either. If there is anybody here that can hear my voice, could you come into this room please? Try and make yourself known in some way. Let us feel your presence, or if you can change the environment in here some way. Let us feel you around us.
God, I can't see anything.
Is there any kind of a sign that you could give us that you're here? A lot of people say that they've heard the sound of children running around and playing in the buildings here. Which is unusual because a lot of people think that this wasn't a particularly happy place to have been, but obviously that's not the case from what people have seen here and heard.
That might be an owl. I thought I heard someone go like, "Wah." I think if we go in now, that sets all the lights off.
This feels uneasy.
This feels uneasy in here.
Yeah.
Try we'll sit on the chair. Sit on the bench. So there's a camera over there pointing in here. I've got this one. If I put this one, oh, dearie me, windy pops. Always think it's like creepy in here.
It feels a lot different to what upstairs feels like.
Yeah. But is that because it's just the two of us?
I want that room.
That room? Or the bunk room?
Yeah.
Let's go in there. We've done something to it. Right. So he's got that camera up there, so if I put another one somewhere else. Put this in this room. What? Hello? Is there anyone in the bunkhouse with us?
Is anybody here, whoever you may be, whether you were a patient here or lived here for some time or maybe even worked here, could you come and speak into this box in my hand, please? Let me hear your voice. Could you tell me your name, please? My name's Luke. This is Vicky. I'll be honest, I've not been in any part of this whole place since I've been here, and I've felt any kind of weird feelings, or not even been in an area where I thought, oh, this feels like something could happen, which is unusual. Sort of going from somewhere that looks like this, you know, even just sort of walking around this place in the dark, you'd expect maybe your brain might start playing tricks on you, but certainly I've not had that at all. I felt very comfortable in every area I've been in, so much so that I could quite happily walk through here just by myself and not feel one edge or anything. Oh, someone done that.
Where are we now?
You little sod.
What are you doing in the toilets, eh? Not the toilets.
Oh yeah. It says on the.
It's a toilet.
Yeah, but get your one out of the toilets.
They are down there.
It does go further than just a toilet.
Yeah, we come from the other side.
We come from the other side.
Right, so we're going to have a cup of drink.
Yeah.
Any joy?
Hot one.
Huh? Any joy?
Oh yeah,
No,
plenty of
you?
joy.
No.
Plenty of joy.
We were just talking about the price of petrol and how much it costs to fill up the tank.
Oh,
I've got to sit through that misery on camera.
Yeah, sorry.
I was on camera.
Yeah.
First thing I said from the door.
oh, you've got to watch it. Or did you personally pick really boring conversations?
Thing is, I don't really want there to be anything in here, because if there is, we've got to sleep in here later.
Well, not us.
Well, we're going to be there.
We get next to the museum.
Better. Is there anyone in this room with us? Or anything in this room with us? If there is, could you make your presence known in any way by maybe moving something, or if you can, putting your energy and yourself around that little green light over there? Let me know that you're in this room with us.
There's no reason to be scared of us. We're just here to visit you.
If you need to use our energy in any way to come across, you can do so.
What's left of it anyway?
What's left of it?
After a quiet start to the night, we regrouped and had a quick tea break before heading out again in our pairs to different areas of the workhouse in hopes of experiencing something.
So we are up in the what's known as the book room. This was the old men's hospital surgery thing.
Yeah.
Hospital, I think. This is
Hospital.
where sort of anyone that was sick, or presumably there would have been the odd injury here and there, but this is where they would have come and treated. And after talking to John, the guy that helped run this place, I was quite surprised to learn that they did actually have proper doctors and nurses here. I just assumed that it would sort of be bodge jobs, but it sounds like here in particular they did actually have qualified people looking after the inmates.
Inmates? Were they inmates?
That's what they were called.
Oh.
Hi, my name's Luke, this is Vicky here. We saw us walking around up in this area earlier. Just looking to communicate or speak with anybody that's around here. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, this used to be the old hospital. Sure, there was a lot of people that maybe came in here that were sick or injured or not well. And I'm assuming there are a number of people that didn't make it out of here. These were the last walls that they saw. Would you be able to give us some kind of indication that there is someone in this room with us? Maybe take a seat with us at the table.
Do you feel any different in here? No? But there's no like noises or... Yes, I can't hear him from this angle. You're closer to the wall. Oh, it's getting hot now. Oh yes. Get that oil heated up, lad. I can see you through the ladder. Oh, this camera is terrible for focusing.
So, operator.
It's not operator error.
Did you hear that?
What?
Where did she go?
I can hear some sort of animal, but it doesn't sound like a sheep. It sounds more like an owl.
That's a double.
Could well be in here in the morning. You never know.
Somebody let him in.
Huh?
Somebody let him in. He's cold out there.
He's got a big woolly coat on.
You might hear it. Oh, my feet stink.
Lovely. Is that a fresh pair of socks?
Yeah. I'll show you.
Yeah. Smelly bastard.
Is there anyone in this part of the building with us that wants to come forwards and show us that you're here in some way still? Or anything that's here, any energy that's here that wants to join us in whatever this room was? I thought I just heard... It sounded like I just heard Sophie go, whoa! You hear it?
Yeah.
Place that instrument down on the table there. This one in front of me. Would you be able to maybe interact with that in some way? I don't know how you perceive us, how you perceive the world. I'm hoping this is a way that we may be able to start some kind of communication with you. If you can move forwards into the environment with us. Try and build up the energy around this table. Did you see a lot of people pass away in this room? This feels like an empty room at the moment to me.
Yeah. I mean, what we were saying earlier was because it's so full of like furniture, it does feel like one of the more like lively rooms. Everything else is empty.
Yeah, I did when I first walked in here. I thought, oh, this is a bit, bit. I wouldn't say lively, but like it felt like there's a bit more going on in here. But then, we've just spent the whole evening walking in rooms that haven't got a lot in them.
Yeah. Feels like it gets more use.
Yeah.
The hair thing again.
What touched your hair?
Yeah,
Just now?
it was done because not moving.
And you can't reach, you're not even near that.
No,
What's that noise in here?
electrics.
What?
Just look into there.
Into where? Back that way? Back that way? But it's literally just the stairs.
I know, but it's freaking me out.
Hello? Is there someone on this floor with us? Oh yeah, really strong vibes from in there as well. I'm now getting the chills.
Torch on.
Hang on.
Is there someone following us?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, well we're going to carry on this way. Shall we go first? That's strange.
The door to slam.
That was a bit like we were in the Masters bit and we weren't supposed to be, and he was kind of like standing there waiting for us to go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say that. Yeah. I have to have my eyes shut.
Weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Up in the
It's like we were going to fall down the floor.
yeah, we went up to the library bit and we're sitting there in the chairs and for ages nothing happened. And then you started asking like, is there someone, because the hospital's like, does someone need help? And we thought we heard someone like call from in another part of that bit. And then we got into the master's living room. Then that like...
The Christmas tree room.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a really like weird
I had my
feeling.
eyes shut. It was horrible.
Really weird feeling came about in there. And I turned the torch off and I just got like all body chills. Like, but weirdly, like looking back towards the closed door that says, is there something on it? There's like a white bit of paper. But you were holding the thing towards it and I was standing there.
Look.
But it felt like whatever was up there was basically like standing at the door, kind of like waiting for us to get out of that bit.
It's
But
like
it just
this-
came about
it's
really
falling across the
quickly.
floor, wasn't
It was
it?
really weird, yeah.
We headed out again, this time together as a full group, which was when the locked off camera in the women's dormitory once again captured the same light anomaly as it had done earlier, and this time we were able to analyse it further. Luckily, we'd recorded the same doorway without night vision, giving us a better idea as to what we were actually looking at. What we initially thought was the white door frame to the dormitory is actually for another door further down the hallway, the doorway for the dormitory actually being slightly wider than first thought, meaning the light had come from the next room in the exact place a fire extinguisher was hanging, and following this examination, I believe that what we'd in fact recorded was nothing more than lights reflecting from the metal body of the fire extinguisher. Our investigation continued until approximately 3 AM when we bedded down for the night in the bunkhouse. Unfortunately, over the 12 hours spent at the workhouse, we can't say that at any point we experienced anything that would support previous claims of a haunting here. Despite this, it really is an impressive building with a fascinating history that will hopefully be preserved for generations to come.